Shadow of War is bringing all sorts of monsters to the mix, but there's one monster that's already from Middle-earth that has yet to be given a chance in this new Middle-earth series. So, we decided to take it into our own hands and make a versus to make special point of this issue. Warg versus Caragor. Let's get to it! Alright, so what is up, everyone? We are finally back and we're actually here talking, aren't we, Al?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we actually, got into one of these more personal sort of videos. So we're glad to see that we have a decent amount of you guys watching. So we want to actually bring some more of personal talk into this. So, let's break down this Warg versus Caragor thing, shall we, Al?
Yes.
Alright, let's frickin' do it. Alright, so first off, let's talk a little bit about the Caragors in Shadow of Mordor. Now, you have not got to play the game yet. You're a heretic, but that's alright. We're going to get into it a little bit. I'll kind of tell some things. Feel free to ask some questions. Alright, so the Caragors in the first game, they're pretty much like your steed or your horse. So you would ride around on them, get from point A to point B, while also being able to, mess up orcs along the way. So they're pretty neat little guys, they're cool. It's a cool take on a horse because there's no horses in the Shadow series yet. So let's talk about their competitors in this video now, the Wargs. So you have seen the Middle-earth movie, so you can actually give some input on this one. So from what you've seen now, what are pretty much the Wargs in the movies like?
Well, the Wargs, they're kind of like wolves, basically. Well, in the sense that Wargs, they have the packs and they team together. They seem quite smart. They're quite vicious as well. So they're used by the orcs in combat, which it comes in handy. Which, it's often quite a good advantage over the Caragors.
Yeah, and it's a little scary too. I can bring back a scene from Two Towers where it has that part where Legolas is up on the hilltop and it gets all in slow motion and you just hear and it's just that eerie kind of barky howl noise that really makes the Wargs just like, it makes your skin crawl. And then he just starts seeing them come over the hill and it's just, it's daunting a little bit. Like, they're frightening.
Just like
they're frightening
loads
creatures. Yeah, and there's just like 50 of them just rolling over the hill. And I would not want to come across them in real life. And I'm kind of happy we don't have them because I wouldn't want to go outside. So they fit really good into the fantasy of Middle-earth. But for some reason, Monolith, the creators of the Shadow series, they did not put them into Shadow of Mordor, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be in Shadow of War yet. We haven't seen everything yet, so we don't know. But why is this, you think, Al? Why have they not put the Wargs into the Shadow series yet?
It depends. It might just be due to balancing, because in Shadow of Mordor, I know you can tame them and you can ride them, which would obviously be kind of a difficult thing to do if there's about 8 of them all trying to kill you. So I feel like there might have been a story reason for that, but it might be just that they're very similar creatures as well. Like, there's not much point having Caragors and Wargs.
They're very close. They're both pretty much steeds. Yeah, and that kind of goes along with what I think is that the Shadow series takes place in Mordor. So the Wargs, I don't know if there's ever really been confirmed that the Wargs are actually all the time in Mordor, if they're frequently there, if they're naturally, living there. They're more of like the rest of Middle-earth, and they're just around that area. So maybe they're just not in Mordor. That's something we'll have to look into more. But you're definitely right. They're both your quote steeds that you ride around more or less. And other than the fact of the Wargs being more of a pack mentality, being more like wolves, and the Caragors are more individual and they're more loners, there's not too much difference between the two. But That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how the game would be if they were both actually in it. Now, if they were there, how do you think that they could put it into the game that would make it, make sense?
For the Caragors, or no, the Wargs.
For the Wargs, putting the Wargs into the game with the Caragors.
I think there could be like kind of a class system. What if the Caragors could work with the Wargs? I know that the Caragors often don't have. They don't work with other Caragors, but if
yes.
they got packs of Wargs, they outnumber any Caragor. But if they could kind of like maybe use them in certain situations, that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to kind of branch off that a little bit, and you can still have the one lone Caragor that you can ride on, but you don't necessarily even have to ride on the Warg if the game they didn't want you to do that, but to just say that like you see a pack of like 5 to 10 Wargs and you're like, do I try to mess with that or do I just go around and sneak away? You can't just take over one of the Wargs and expect it to be okay, because the rest of the pack is still going to be coming at you. So if they keep it to where the pack is just its own thing, like it's always a pack of them, that could work, and it would make it different than the Caragor, which would still pretty much be your horse in the game, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, if balanced correctly, it could work very well. I think they have tons of potential with having multiple enemies. With you don't even have to ride them, like you say, but with just multiple enemies, like pack animals like these, compared to just Caragors. They could
one or two Caragors.
It could obviously, it might not be so in the lore, but you could make the Wargs a bit weaker just to compensate for that, because obviously the Caragors are pretty strong on their own, so too many of them might be a bit overpowering, so I'm pretty sure they could find a way to balance that a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like what we said, the Wargs are like wolves and the Caragors are like a tiger. One tiger could destroy a couple wolves, but you get that pack, and that pack is going to eat that tiger alive, and that's kind of like how it would be in the game. Imagine seeing a pack of Wargs just surrounding a Caragor and just demolishing it, or the one Warg is left and the Caragor just swipes him with his big giant claws and he's just down. So that's pretty much what it would go like. Alright, Al, so if there was a meeting of these two badass creatures, who do you think would win? Let me hear it.
Well, one-on-one, Caragor completely. I think they are even bigger than Wargs. They're more vicious. They are singular animals, so they know how to hunt on their own. So I think they would destroy a Warg. But Wargs, they work in a pack.
Mentality.
A pack of Wargs will just destroy a Caragor. It's simple nature. What about you, Jacob?
That's pretty much exactly where it's at. I agree with you 155%.
And that's why we work together.
That's why we damn work together. You hear that, guys? And now it is on you guys to let us know what you think about the Wargs joining the Shadow series. How do you think they would work in the game? And if they were in the game and they came across a Caragor, how do you think that fight would go down? It'd be an epic clash of these beasts of Middle-earth. Alright, so this has been Jacob, and this is my friend from across the pond.
My name's Alistair. Nice to meet you.
His name's Alistair, and we will talk to you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace out.